All right, welcome back to Reasonably Debatable. Chris and Chris, the best father-son podcast on the internet, period. What's up, Dad?
Word.
So as you can see, you got the Christmas going a little early this year.
Yeah, man. Makes the wife happy. So Christmas tree's up.
Gonna cheers with a Corona for the 5th episode today.
I went out and I still on the Bud Select 55. I ought to get a sponsorship from them.
You know what? With Corona, I usually just drink it how it is. Because it's kind of a hassle to buy limes and cut them and put them in. But I picked this up at the store for the camera.
A little lime juice.
Lime juice. And
that works.
And
whatever happened to lemons? Like I remember that's a lot of lime juice. That's gonna be all right. Yeah, but we used to put lemons in Corona, and then one day it just became limes.
You can see it falling. Hey, I was at a tailgate last weekend, and that's where I got the idea. Seeing someone there put this in their beer, and they squirted so much lime juice that the Corona was green.
That's all right. Whatever. That's people are weird.
But see, that's good. That's good stuff. But yeah, so the last 2 episodes we did BuzzFeed quizzes, and then our first 2 episodes we did the tier maker. So we're gonna go back to the tier maker again today.
Okay.
Today we
were talking about also, sorry to interrupt, but we were also talking about doing a one of the bracket ones in the future.
Yeah.
And then here in few episodes, we're gonna start having guests.
Yeah. Yep. And the bracket one, I think we can do it on tier maker, but we'll see. We're gonna come up with a few brackets. But today I thought it would be cool if we ranked adult cartoons. Okay. And I guess I should be specific. It's adult comedy cartoons because they consider Samurai Jack an adult cartoon, but that's not an adult comedy cartoon.
Okay.
So I was mainly trying to do get all the ones that are, like Family Guy and adult comedy anime.
Yeah.
But all right, I'll pull the screen up here. Let me see what we got. I didn't have it up. Let me do share. All right, you can see that. Let me pull this up. There we go. Let me full screen us here. And
this should be a good one.
Yeah, so again, for the people watching that didn't see the first 2 episodes, this website is called Tier Maker, and this is we rank everything on here between S being the best and F being the worst, and we just rank them from best to worst.
It's for everybody over 30. It's the regular school grades A through F, but also with S as like a super A or something. It's like an A plus.
Yeah. So I'm gonna move us up just a little bit. So I think there's 24 here, something like that. This is just the most. I searched up the most popular adult cartoons. I think some of them you've probably seen and I haven't, and maybe some of them I've seen and you haven't. But I think for the most part, me and you've probably seen most of these.
Yeah. There's a few on here that I haven't seen.
Yeah, so I thought it would be fun. And I didn't put them in any particular order. I just threw them in here, and this is what it spit out. So starting off, we got the first one. It is The Simpsons.
Okay. Go ahead.
For me, I think this is like the original. When I think of like an adult cartoon, I know there was some before it, but I just really think is The Simpsons of kind of being the start.
Okay, so when I was little, grew up in Richmond, Virginia, and we had ABC, NBC, CBS, some religious channel, PBS, and we had Fox.
Yeah.
And on Fox, they had the Tracy Ullman show. It's like a little sketch comedy show. It's pretty funny, especially when you're a kid. And during the Tracy Ullman show, they would have little skits. And like one of the breaks was a cartoon they would put on The Simpsons.
Yeah.
So before they got their own show, they used to be a part of the Tracy Ullman show. So I've been watching The Simpsons literally since before it was a show.
Well, and the crazy thing is, I think, and someone fact check us and put it in the comments, I'm pretty sure it is the longest running show ever
Yeah, I think so too.
because it's still coming out. They're in like almost like season 40 almost. I mean, it's still going. So, and it's kind of hard because like, looking at these and how we're going to rank them, I think part of it, because they're comedy, you have to rank them as how funny they are, but part of it is just how good they are and iconic. I mean, really just ranking them how we think they are. And I think you said this well, The Simpsons is really funny when you're a kid.
Yeah.
And then when you get older, it's not as funny, but it's still good.
Yeah. And also like once or twice an episode, they'll sneak in like a really slick joke that, I don't know. I really enjoy the episodes when the Simpsons are doing like a famous movie, like when they did The Great Gatsby. Whenever I like the Treehouse of Horror ones. We still like
Treehouse of
this
Horror is the
Halloween
best.
on Disney Plus. We were watching all the Treehouse of Horror collection, so we were just watching it from every year. So I don't know. It doesn't have the same like, you know, hold your stomach laughing till you cry as like a couple of these, but you got to give it an A because they did everything first.
Yeah, I think that's fair. You got to give them the respect. They did it.
Yeah.
So we'll we can always move stuff if we want to change it later.
I feel like we're going to be moving things on this list.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. The next one is the Boondocks, which the rest of these are very similar kind of animation style. The Boondocks is also considered an anime because it's done in the same style as anime. But I thought if we do an anime list, it'll make that, and it makes the comedy list.
Yeah.
But before we rank it, why don't you tell people about how the Boondocks got started? Because you told me.
I used to read Boondocks like miniature comic strips in the back of like hip hop
Source,
magazines
right?
in the 90s. Yeah, I think it was like the Source or Vibe. It might have been the Source. It probably was the Source because I read that all the time, and I think it was the back of the Source. And it would just be like kind of like when you get the Sunday paper for people who are again over 30 and know what a newspaper is.
Right.
Well, on the Sunday edition, they have comics in them. And comics, by the way, are cartoons that are drawn in little boxes.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was just like a little comic strip in the back of a magazine, and it was funny then, but it was I think it's gonna be hard to find a funnier show. I mean, that thing was just hysterical.
Well, the funny thing was I was watching and this is kind of cool that we're doing this now. I just watched a video last week about all the backlash that the writer of the show took, and like the episode where he's making fun of Medea in season 3 with the dresses and stuff. Well, he had wrote the episode and I think he took it to the producers and they're like, you cannot make this. And he was like, no, I'm gonna do it. And I guess the very first episode of the Boondocks, for people who haven't seen it, is the trial of R. Kelly, the very first episode. And they were trying to cancel that show and like shut it down from the very first episode. The day the first episode came out, they were like, this is too controversial. But he said that's the point. He was like, he wanted to push the comedy and make it to where it stings. So
some of the hardest laughs I've ever had in my life was watching Boondocks. And then
especially like Uncle Ruckus.
I know. And for years later, like quoting Boondocks lines to other people who watched it is
And rest in peace, Granddad. Yeah, that's an S for me too.
Love Huey, love Riley, love I love how Samuel L. Jackson and Charlie Murphy.
Yeah. Are white guys. They play white dudes. Yeah.
Hysterical.
Yeah, and that's the thing too, because I remember watching that when I was younger, and I know we watched Friday at some point, but like when someone would say Granddad, I would think of Boondocks. I didn't think of Friday immediately. which is crazy
Yeah.
because Friday was so popular they reference it in Boondocks all the time.
Well,
But I knew
he
him from
was
Boondocks.
yeah, he was Pops in Friday. He was
Pops,
Granddad. Yeah.
Granddad
John
in the Boondocks.
Witherspoon, rest in peace. Hysterical. Thanks for bringing the killer kung fu wolf bitch to the crib, Grandpa.
Right.
Granddad.
And then like Thugnificent when he goes
Oh, it was so funny. It
from
was so
rags to
funny.
riches and then riches
Yeah.
to or bitches to
Yeah.
rags.
Yeah. Oh, it was so funny.
Smoking with cigarettes. So many good episodes.
Oh, I know.
So this next one, King of the Hill, I think you probably know this more than me because I remember I've seen King of the Hill, but I think you watched it a lot more than I did. That was 90s, wasn't it?
Yeah. 90s and early 2000s. It was kind of like it's like a Texas Southern good old boy version of The Simpsons.
Damn it, Bobby.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't seen a ton of it to know like
It's
I
not
don't
like Boondocks, South Park funny,
yeah.
but it has its moments. And then like the premise of an episode will be funny. You know what I mean?
Right. All
And
right.
and
So
it does have some really funny moments too, especially if you knew guys like that. You're like, yeah, I know dudes like that.
so where would you rank it?
At least a B,
B, okay.
at least.
I didn't think you were gonna put it that
Oh yeah. Yeah, King of the Hill is hysterical.
high. All right. Next we have BoJack Horseman. You ever seen that?
I have never seen an episode,
Okay, so it's
so I won't let you do that one.
I think it's a Netflix show. I haven't seen enough of it to it's kind of like King of the Hill. I've seen episodes of it, but I haven't seen
Okay.
enough. What I've seen, it's pretty funny. I wouldn't say it's as funny as King of the Hill, Simpsons, or Boondocks or anything. But a cool thing for people listening is on my album Blue Heart, the song "Am I a Good Person?" The beginning, we actually sampled BoJack Horseman
That's cool.
when he goes in the bar and he's like, I don't know if I'm a good person. She's like, oh, BoJack, you're a good person, blah blah blah, and then it cuts into the beat. So I actually sampled BoJack Horseman. So, but I would probably give it a C. I think C is fair. It's not terrible, but it's not great. The next one, I forget the title of it. Was it
That
Space
is
Coast?
Space Ghost Coast to Coast.
Coast to Coast.
That
That's
was
right.
his interview show. That was fucking hysterical. Like, I don't know how much it would hold up today. It
That was Adult
really,
Swim, right?
yeah, like it might have been the first thing on Adult Swim. Yeah, I mean that was 90s, but it was hysterical. They would have like celebrities on there,
Yeah.
and they would do like these ridiculous interviews, and it was it was the first show to have like the cringe moments and leave it on there.
Oh yeah.
Make things really awkward and weird and just leave it up. It was hysterical.
So it was interviews, like they had like
Yeah,
a talk
yeah,
show. I have to
yeah,
check it out.
yeah. Like lots of, I think, like Brad Pitt and Hulk Hogan and Bobcat Goldthwait. I don't know why those are the three that popped into my head, but you know, yeah, a lot of famous people did that.
Yeah, well, again, a one that I haven't seen, so I'm gonna let you rank that one. It's kind of hard because some of these
Okay,
are
well,
good, but amongst the others,
it's weird. It definitely at least gets a B.
okay,
Yeah, I mean it's had some really funny moments, and the whole thing with the aliens, Moldor and Drac, or yeah.
yeah, I haven't seen it. And by the way, people watching, if you completely disagree with us and think BoJack Horseman's an S and the Boondocks is an F, comment
Yeah.
below and let us know why. All right, next we have probably the most, I would say, the most well known on this list, and that's Family Guy.
How Family Guy can't get anything but an S.
Yeah,
I
think
mean,
well,
I've laughed harder at Family Guy more times than probably any other show. From like season 5, when they kind of like got everything down,
yeah,
all the way up through like season 16 or something. Like they were just they couldn't make an episode that didn't have 5 or 6 times in it when I had like hard belly laughs in it.
yeah. And Seth MacFarlane is hilarious. I think anything he
really
does, like the Orville's hilarious. The Western movie he did was funny.
Yeah.
and then
A
all
Million Ways to Die in the West.
yep, and then he has a few of these shows on here actually his. So I think he's
He's funny
hilarious.
on those roasts.
Now the thing is with Family Guy is you have some seasons that were
Yeah.
but then you have some seasons that are great all the way through. But he has so
Yep.
many. There's so many that I think it makes up for the ones that are.
Yeah, it's on the upswing now. It went down for a while, but then it got funny again. It's
Yeah.
I don't know. You never know what's happening.
Well, let's put it up at S for now.
For sure, that gets an S.
There we go. All right. Next is South Park.
S plus. Like
Yeah.
South Park is the best one on here. Like I said about Family Guy, the hardest laughs ever.
I would think I would think as far as just me like dying laughing, I would probably have to say South Park's number one.
Yeah,
Just
especially
because
if you keep up with like what's going on, like you watch a little news, you kind of stay on the internet, you're familiar with like the new memes and what's going viral on YouTube. Like if you're up on what's new, like they're really up on what's new, and it's hysterical.
yeah, and I think with Family Guy, they've made the characters you get to know the characters so good, and that's what's so funny. Like Quagmire's personality or whatever. The Boondocks, I think, is more like if you grew up poor or in the hood
Yeah,
or struggled, you really get that.
we love
Um,
Boondocks.
but South Park, I think, is just generally funny. I think anyone can get it. They're making fun of current events, and um, it's hilarious. I think it's yeah, I agree with you. That's an S tier.
For sure. It's probably, I'd say that's probably the funniest one on this list.
If you want, we can move it in front of.
Yeah,
Boondocks.
I think we have to. South Park is just there's so many. There's 100 like classic moments on that show.
Yeah, no, it's great. And the funny thing is, a lot of these, like the Boondocks, The Simpsons, South Park, you had, before streaming became really popular, you had them on DVD.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
like, the other day, I was like, I'm going to watch The Simpsons, and I remember you had season 4 on DVD, and I think that's the one where like Michael Jackson's in it, Lisa gets a pony.
I can't remember, but yeah, one of the earlier seasons.
Yeah, and it's hilarious. Like that's that, and so I went back and just started on season 4, and I'm like, because that's the one I remember, and I remember like the early seasons of South Park. We had season 3 of the Boondocks on DVD, so and 2. Which it's funny. I'll tell you this real quick. So on the Boondocks, you made that's when you were like making DVDs and you were making
Yeah.
the intros, and you put Already Home by Jay-Z and Kid Cudi
Yeah.
as the theme song. Well, I always thought that was actually the theme song for the DVDs. So for years, I'd hang out with friends and I'd play the Blueprint 3, and I'm like, this is the first time Jay-Z and Kid Cudi worked together, and this is the theme song they used for the Boondocks. Everyone's like, no, they didn't. I'm like, yeah, it's the theme song for the Boondocks, and all along it's because you put it on the DVD. And my whole life, I believe that was the DVD theme song for the Boondocks.
Yeah, I remember.
Next, we got the Cleveland
extra money in college there.
Yep.
That was back when Netflix was just DVDs in the mail.
What's crazy? A lot of people my age don't remember that, but I remember getting Goosebumps on DVD from Netflix.
Yeah, that's what I would get. The new releases would come in, and I'd burn copies allegedly. That's how the story goes.
And that's when Netflix went to Blockbuster and was like, hey, let's work together. And Blockbuster was like, you're not going to be anything.
Yeah.
And turned out, yeah.
Yeah, good call, Blockbuster. Really good.
So the next one is the Cleveland Show, which is another Seth MacFarlane show.
Yeah, and it's like black people done by white people, but it's so funny. I mean, on the show, they do have like on the Cleveland Show, but like Cleveland is definitely a white dude.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, I think out of all of Seth MacFarlane's shows, I think it's probably his worst, but I thought it was hilarious. Some people hate it, but I thought it was good. I mean, I don't think it's as good as Family Guy or the other one on this list, but
it's funny. It was really funny.
Yeah.
The Rollo character said some hysterical things. Yeah. No, that's super funny. Yeah.
I'd say at least a B, B, C.
Yeah,
What
I'd
do
put
you
it a
think?
B. I'd put it right up there beside Ghostface, Space Ghost Coast to Coast. Now that would have been funny. Have Ghostface Killer doing a cartoon interview show.
Yeah. This next one is Talon's favorite show of all time ever. So Talon, if you're watching this, I already know you're about to be mad. Um, I've
Archer.
seen, yeah, I've seen a couple episodes. I'm not a huge fan. I think it's the animation style I'm not a big fan of. But then again, I didn't watch it from the beginning. We didn't grow up watching it.
Yeah.
So
So I've heard people say that Archer is really funny.
yeah,
I've never watched a whole episode. I've caught like little pieces of it, and I was always like, huh. You know what I mean?
yeah. For me, it's I hate to say it, but I'd put it in D tier.
Yeah.
Sorry, Talon.
Yeah. It hasn't been good enough to keep my attention for a whole episode.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
I get bored after a couple of minutes. I'm like, this is stupid, and I just change it. Sorry,
uh,
Talon.
the next one is actually my personal favorite, but it's not the Futurama. I don't think it's the funniest show. I'd put South Park funnier. I think Boondocks is funnier.
Yeah.
I'd say Family Guy is funnier. I just like the story, and it's the people who did The Simpsons, and I just
I've
liked
watched,
it.
I've watched all of Futurama as well.
Yeah, I just
It
like
was good.
I like the fact that everything was like sci-fi nerd, and they reference like Star Trek and Star Wars, and like
Yeah.
as we were saying, like the Boondocks is kind of situational if you grew up broke and poor
Yeah.
in the ghetto. I feel like if you're really nerdy and into science and space and sci-fi, like Futurama is funny to you.
Yeah. Yeah, I like Futurama. And they had some really funny episodes too.
Yeah, they did. It short-lived though.
Zach Brannigan.
I would put it at least an A. I don't think
I
it's
put it an A.
I don't think it's funny
Well,
enough to make an S.
I don't know if Futurama is better than the Cleveland Show. I don't know if Futurama
Oh,
is
for
better than
sure.
King of the Hill.
For sure.
No, I wouldn't.
Look, I'm using my bump.
All right,
I'm moving it to the A.
We'll leave that one at A, but I don't know.
This next one, have you seen it? Mike Tyson's Mysteries?
Okay, so there's a billion TV shows out.
Yeah.
You can stream everything, and between like the live sports and then trying to watch shows, it's one of those I've never watched it. And Mike Tyson it's actually him doing it, right?
Yeah.
I'm sure I would love it. I love Mike Tyson. I watch his Hot Boxing with Mike Tyson podcast from time to time. I watch the clips, like the little 10-minute clips they put on YouTube. But I've never watched it, so I don't know how to rank. I'm sure it's great. You know what I mean? Anything Mike Tyson, I'm a fan of. I just haven't seen it.
So I've seen a couple episodes. So then they came to Mike Tyson asking if he wanted to do this show, and he was like, "No, I'm not doing a cartoon." But they're like, "Yeah, you should do it." Talked him into it. So I guess the premise of the show is it's supposed to be Scooby-Doo meets the A-Team.
Okay, and Mike Tyson's supposed to be like B.A. Baracus,
and he's solving mysteries with the mystery gang.
That's Mr. T.
Yeah,
shit.
That's before my time. I'm not even going to claim to know anything about the A-Team.
I used to watch the A-Team.
But there's like a ghost, and I think it's supposed to be the founder of boxing who follows Mike Tyson, and then he has a pigeon that's like a guy who cheated on his wife. He gets turned to a pigeon, and Mike Tyson's really big into pigeons. If anyone knows Mike Tyson,
if you know the Mike Tyson story, you know that he kept pigeons and
yes. So it's like a boxing coach that's dead as a ghost, a pigeon, him, and then like his daughter, and they just go solve mysteries. So
I think I don't know what that's on, but I think I'm going to stream that. I'm going to start it. I'm going to watch that.
It's on Hulu. I was getting ready to start it too, just because I'm reading the Mike Tyson documentary right now.
The Undisputed Truth.
The Undisputed Truth.
Yeah, I'm over halfway. I'm a few hundred pages into. I'm like, if I got the hardback, do you have hardback or softback?
Audiobook.
Paperback. Do what?
Audiobook.
Oh, well, never mind.
Yeah.
If you take the book and put your like thumbs in the middle, I'm literally like right in the middle of the book.
Really good read if anyone hasn't read it yet.
Yeah. Problem is I read books ridiculously slow because, read them in the bathroom. So
right.
I'm only reading them a few minutes at a time.
And I do audiobooks just when I'm driving to listen to them.
Yeah.
So I mean, I think it's funny. I would say it's definitely funnier than BoJack Horseman. But I haven't seen enough of it.
I've never seen it. I've never seen a single episode.
I would say it's funny, but I don't think it's funny, and I haven't seen enough of it to put it in the SA. So I would say B's fair, and I would say the bottom of the B.
I'm just gonna go with you because I haven't seen it.
All right. Next up, we got Bob's Burgers. Have you seen that one?
I'm scanning over the other episodes. I think this is the only one I'm gonna throw a little hate on. I'm gonna drink a little haterade and throw some salt at Bob's Burgers. But that shit is corny and whack and lame. And
I'm not the biggest fan. I've seen a couple
ugh,
episodes, and I think
ugh.
it's like, eh. But for me, it's kind of the same thing as like
I
Archer. It's like it's on. I'll look at it.
I watched. I didn't. I was. I had an ex who was like super into Bob's Burgers
Yeah.
and thought it was great. She was like, "Oh, you gotta watch it." I'm like, "All right, whatever. Let's fucking watch it." All right, and it's just awful. It's just
Yeah, I
awful.
can't say I'm a big fan, and I never watched
It's
it
one
and
of
like
those
actually
ones.
laughed.
Like, here's the thing: comedy's great, stand-up
Yeah.
comedy, funny. And when you're already in a good mood and you're happy and you're ready to laugh, and you watch something that's supposed to be funny, and you watch the entire thing, and you don't have like a single, like no, not even like a chuckle. And then like 3 4 episodes into it, you still haven't even chuckled once. You're like, all right, this is trash bag soup.
Yeah, for me, I agree with you on that. I mean, I've seen more of it than I've seen Mike Tyson's Mysteries, and I haven't been a huge fan.
Yeah.
Well, I would put it in D, but the way you talked about it, I'm thinking you're thinking F.
It's the worst one on the list. If we're gonna give an F to something, it's gonna be that.
All right, we'll put it down in F.
Yeah, I can't. I don't know what the hell they were thinking with that show.
All right, next, Rick and Morty. I'll let you start off with this. How you feel
I
about
love
it?
Rick and Morty. I love Rick and Morty so much. The 4th season was kind of a bummer. 5th season was great. We came right back to it. I don't know what happened in that 4th season. They were doing that shitty ass solar opposites, and I think that was splitting their time.
Yeah.
But I don't know. 4th season there was like 5 episodes that were just ugh. But the first 3 seasons and now this 5th season are all awesome.
Yeah, I think for me, it's like if you took the funny of South Park and the sci-fi of Futurama and smashed them together,
Oh, for sure.
you would have
For
Rick
sure.
and
Rick
Morty.
and other than South Park, I would say South Park still is ahead of Rick and Morty just because there's, a million episodes of South Park.
Yeah,
But I would say Rick and Morty's right there.
I would agree. I'd say South Park's funnier. I think I like Rick and Morty more, but there hasn't been enough of it.
Yeah.
Um,
I hope they do. I hope they never stop making it. I hope we get 50 seasons of Rick and Morty.
yeah. Well,
Yeah.
and I love the Boondocks, but I would say that Rick and Morty's better. I think everyone likes Rick and Morty.
It's neck and neck. Rick and Morty, Boondocks, and Family Guy are all like
S tier.
they're all S tier. They're all fighting over who's the best, but South Park is like, I don't know, oh man. I don't know. With those 4, those are like the big 4.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. And those are probably the 4 most popular.
Mm-hmm.
Next, we got another show by Seth MacFarlane. So he did Family Guy, Cleveland Show, if you're watching and are listening, and American Dad.
Love it.
I think American
Go
Dad's.
ahead.
I think American Dad's funnier than the
Hysterical.
Cleveland Show.
I do too. I think like I don't know, like if Seth MacFarlane writes everybody's lines or writes the whole script, or if they have like separate writers for each character or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know how it goes. I don't know how it works. But the lines that like some of Stan and Roger's lines are so funny.
Well, and I think, and I could
they
be
say some ridiculous shit and it's hysterical.
I could be wrong. Someone correct me, but I'm pretty sure Seth MacFarlane is a Democrat, but he made this show and made the most
Yeah,
ultra super conservative
Oh, I know.
Republican.
I know. He's
that you
super
could-
right. So
die,
funny.
die hard Ronald Reagan. It's great.
Yeah.
But I don't. Again, I don't think that makes. I don't think it's an S tier.
No. I would say it's in between. Me personally, I would put it in between Simpsons and Family Guy and Futurama, but
That's
only
fair.
because Futurama's up there. I would put King of the Hill. I would put it between Simpsons and all those ones on the B tier. But whatever.
Yeah, that's fair. I'd give it an A tier. I think American
Yeah.
Dad's great. It's funnier than Cleveland Show, but not as funny as Family Guy.
Yep.
All right, this next one I only have faint memories of because I wasn't old enough to stay up late enough to see it that often.
Yeah.
But Aqua Team Force, did you ever watch it?
A lot of my friends watched it. A lot of people I hung out with, and you know, I just never got into it. I know I'm sure it's really funny, but again, it's one of those I've never watched a single episode.
Right.
I know a ton of people who love it and think it's hysterical and it's the greatest thing, but I just never watched it.
Yeah, this is one of those things where I've seen a few episodes. It's okay. I just you had to stay up really late after like because you had Cartoon Network, I think, and then like Toonami was like
Yeah.
after Cartoon Network you get the anime, but then you had like Adult Swim, but then after
Yeah.
Adult Swim you had like at like way late at night you would get into like Aqua Team Force and Space Ghost Coast to Coast and
Yeah, that was weird because like they had the rules then. They may still now. I don't know. I haven't had cable in years and years since streaming came out.
yeah.
It used to be on cable that and South Park nailed it with the shit episode where they said shit like I don't know 85 times in one episode. But it was like if you made it to 10:30, I don't know. Somebody comment and put this in the comments. I think it was like between 10 and 11 or 10 and 10:30, you
Yeah.
were allowed like one shit. And but like if you made it to 11 or whatever, you could say any swear word.
Yeah.
I don't know. There was real weird rules. Like before 10 o'clock, it was PG. Like all you were allowed to get away with was like saying ass.
Right. But then after that, you can say whatever the hell
But
you
from
want.
like 10 to 11, you could say shit.
I mean, it's
And then
kind of
like
smart
after 11, you could say whatever the hell you wanted.
because kids my age, we weren't staying up that late. And if you did,
Mm-mm.
you were exhausted. I do remember, I don't know, I think it was Nickelodeon. If you stayed up real late, you left the TV on, you woke up 3 a.m, you would hear George Lopez in the background. Da, 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 and you knew like it's like 3, 4 in the morning. I probably need to go back to bed.
Your whole
But
generation identifies War's Lowrider. Like if Lowrider comes on by War, like
George
for your
Lopez for
whole
life.
generation, it's like, oh, that's the George Lopez song.
Yeah. Well, that's what's so cool about a lot of these is like, because you were, besides like The Simpsons and maybe Space Ghost, like I feel like most of these you were an adult for. And I was a kid when a lot of these started. So like I have memories of like seeing them as a kid or like seeing them at like the Boondocks I seen at a friend's house for the first time and Aqua Team Force if you stayed up late enough. So I have like the memories of when I seen them.
As far as Aqua Teen, I've never watched a single episode, so I can't give it a grade. It could be an F, it could be an S, could be anything in between. So if you're asking me, I'm just going to put it a C because I haven't seen it.
Yeah, and I've maybe seen a couple episodes and I couldn't really remember. It wasn't the best, but it wasn't terrible. All right,
Fair
next,
enough.
this isn't really a cartoon, but it kind of fits in with adult cartoons, and that's Robot Chicken.
Had some really funny moments, but
Yeah,
never really got into it.
yeah, that's the thing is I think there's certain moments in Robot Chicken where you can crack up laughing, but sometimes it's just like,
Yeah, just there's some misses on there.
yeah, I don't think it ranks. I don't even think it's B tier.
Yeah, I think that's another C. The Star Wars thing was funny, and it's cool to see like all the He-Man and Thundercats like action figures doing stuff. They do have some good. I don't know. It's probably a B. It's probably a B.
Definitely had some. It was cool to have like the action figures. Like that was a good idea. We can do B.
Yeah.
High C,
Yeah.
C, low B.
Yeah, something like that.
Oh, zoomed us in there. There we go. All right, this next one, Big Mouth. I've only seen a couple episodes, but you've seen a lot of it, right?
So funny. So funny.
So I'll let
So
you take it.
such an adult cartoon. Like it's about these kids entering puberty, right?
Hmm.
And just like what we all remember when we were going through adolescence, and but it is
I know there's like the
ridiculously funny.
hormone monster
Oh,
and
it's so funny, so funny. But I mean, spoiler alert. But well, not really a spoiler. Just don't watch it with your kids.
yeah,
This
super.
is like a few of these. You're like, oh, they're adult cartoons, but you let the kids watch. You can't let them watch Big Mouth. You gotta,
Yeah, this is super raunchy.
yeah, but hysterical. Um, I think they've done another season that I haven't seen, but I mean, laugh seriously funny, laugh out. I Well, all right, so I don't know. It's definitely I'd put it a B. We're gonna have to kick Robot Chicken down to a C
Yeah, we're gonna have to.
because Big Mouth is better than Robot Chicken, but it's nowhere near as good as like American Dad and The Simpsons.
And since we've both seen Big Mouth more than Mike Tyson, I'll put it up here. Would you
Yeah.
say Big Mouth's better than Cleveland Show?
No, because there was like 5 seasons of the Cleveland Show, and I think there's only 2 or 3 seasons of Big Mouth.
Yeah. Um, yeah, I've that's a Netflix show, which there's a few of them. We're about to get into the rest of the Netflix shows on here. Um, I only see a couple episodes. I need to watch it. I know Nick thinks it's hilarious. He loves it.
It's so funny.
Watches every episode. So I'm definitely gonna have to check that out.
It's really funny.
Next is what is that? Oh, F is for family.
Okay. For me, this is an A. This is almost an S. F for
Really?
Yeah, it's
Really?
so funny.
I've
It's
never even seen it.
so funny. It's so funny. It's Bill Burr's show,
Oh yeah.
and he just took like stories from like his dad growing up and him growing up with his dad,
Yeah.
and it's just a different time, the late 70s, early 80s.
Yeah. Yeah. This is
Yeah, it's really funny. It's
another
really funny.
another Netflix show for people watching. But yeah, I haven't seen it. So hey, if you say it's an A tier, we'll put it in A tier.
It's almost an S. It's super funny.
High
Uh,
A's
yeah.
above
I
the
don't know.
Simpsons.
I don't know. I don't know if it's above The Simpsons. We might. Yeah. There we go.
um, the next one is Brickleberry, and this is I just know it as Daniel Tosh's show. I don't know if it is his show or if he just plays in it, but I know he's in it. I know he's the little bear.
Yeah. I don't know if he writes it or what. I watched the very first episode.
Yeah.
And they were like, oh, a new, because Daniel Tosh was killing it on Tosh.0, and he had those 2 stand-up specials that were really funny.
Yeah.
So they were like, oh, he's got a cartoon. So I tuned in. It was
Yeah, I think I maybe seen a couple episodes. I wasn't a huge fan, obviously, or else we would have kept watching it.
yeah.
So
I don't think it sucked it, but it wasn't good. Like I'd give it a C.
see, okay.
Yeah.
And that's another thing. So originally, when I had this idea for us to tier rank these adult cartoons, at first I was like, there can't be that many. I was like, Rick and Morty. I've thought of the S tier: South Park, Rick and Morty, Boondocks,
Yeah.
Family Guy. I was like, man, that's there's not going to be enough for a tier maker. But then when you get into it, you realize there's a lot. And there's someone here I forgot.
By the way, all of the S's but Family Guy are on HBO Max.
South Park is?
Yeah. All the new episodes. Did you see the South Park? Are you up on South Park? Like, are you caught up?
No, I'm not.
They're
I have
really funny again. Like, how they'll dip and kind of, but it's laugh out loud, like tears in your face, laugh so hard. It's really funny again.
I'm gonna have to check that out. Yeah, and I'm on your HBO, so there we go.
I'm pretty sure you have HBO Max.
Yeah. This next one is another.
Up.
What?
I was like, shh, HBO, don't shut us off.
Right. We have a family plan. It's all right.
Yeah.
This next one is another Netflix show, and it's made by the people who made The Simpsons and Futurama. For the people listening, it's Disenchanted.
Mm-hmm.
I forgot to say. Have you seen it?
I gave it a real chance. I watched the first 2 episodes all the way through.
Uh-huh.
Not a single chuckle. Not even a. Eh.
Yeah,
It was just. Oof.
and I was at first I was excited because they had Eric Andre plays the demon, and I think Eric Andre is hilarious. But I just again I couldn't get into it. I don't think it's terrible, but if you're ranking it above The Simpsons and Futurama, their other shows, not as good.
Nowhere near as good. I'd I'd give it a D.
Okay, I'd put it above Archer because at least I've watched more of it than Archer.
Okay.
This next one, that this is definitely before my time, Beavis and Butthead. So I'm gonna let you take the stand on this one.
I don't know if it would hold up now, because that group isn't around. Like, how every every generation, like in the 60s, if you were a teenager, like you're to rebel against your parents, you would, do whatever, but you would wear like bell bottom jeans.
Yeah.
That would be the thing. And the parents in the 60s would be like, your pants look stupid, or,
Right.
and then, it's every generation has whatever that annoys their parents or whatever. And like, how there for a while there was like the brick shoes, like the
We wore the skaters, the
Osiris DC. They
yeah.
came out with those shoes that were just as wide as they were long.
Yep, that was
You
my
guys,
generation.
yeah, you guys all wore them for like
We
6 months.
we had the
And I was
skinny
like,
jeans and the brick shoes.
I was so happy when the brick shoes were gone. But anyway, I think with Beavis and Butthead, that whole era, like you just had to live through it. I don't know if it would hold up today, but at the time, hysterical, like
When was
all
that?
the
Was that
way.
80s?
Early 90s,
Okay.
but so funny. So funny. Definitely an A.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well, yeah,
definitely an A.
I've never seen it, but I did because I have a video game store on eBay. If you guys are watching, go to eBay and check out our website on there. But we found a Beavis and Butthead like Game Boy game, and I
Mhm.
was like, oh, this is probably nothing, probably $1 or something. So we just threw it in the bin, and I was looking it up, and it's worth like over $100. And I was like, whoa, like it's like an original Game Boy game, Beavis and Butthead. But apparently, like if with Beavis and Butthead stuff, people collect it. So
Yeah.
I don't know.
Beavis and Butthead was like, again, it was made by Mike Judge, who made King of the Hill, who made, by the way, Tales from the Tour Bus.
Oh yeah, I watched that
And
with you.
so good. Everything he does, he made Office Space, which was
Yeah.
hysterical.
Yep.
Like the guy's never done anything that wasn't just really good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
so
that's
good.
funny. This next one, I have never seen it, and I wasn't even going to put it on the list because at least everything on here I know what it is. I've seen maybe an episode, but I've never seen the Venture Bros. But it was ranked in the most popular on every website, so I figured I'd throw it in here.
I've never heard of it.
Well, then we could do a little something like this.
Probably just not rank it or something because
I'm gonna move
I've
us
never even
down.
heard of it.
Here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna add a new row, which you can do on this website if anyone's watching.
Okay.
And then just put not watched. Bam.
Yeah. I mean, should we do that with Mike Tyson's Mysteries? Have you seen any of it?
I've seen a couple episodes.
Okay.
It was fine.
All right. Well, never mind.
This next one, I debated even putting it on here because there was a few, like I said at the beginning, a few things they considered adult cartoons. Like Samurai Jack, they had Rocco's Modern Life.
I don't see what that would be an adult cartoon.
And then they had Ren and Stimpy. And the reason why I put Ren and Stimpy is because I was reading it and they were like, even though it was like a kid's cartoon, they were like, they definitely made some adult jokes. And it was like the first, like, we're going to push the boundaries where it's definitely an older kid show and it could almost be an adult show.
Yeah, it was Nickelodeon. And I don't know how they got away with the shit they said and did. I love Ren and Stimpy. It's, I mean, I'm gonna say A, but it's almost an S for me. Maybe.
Yeah, Ren and Stimpy is funny.
I still watch Ren and Stimpy.
Yeah,
I still watch Ren and Stimpy. Like today, like I watched it with Oscar.
Yeah, and that's why I put Ren and Stimpy in here over Rocco's Modern Life because I think Rocco's Modern Life doesn't say a lot of adult jokes, but I think Ren and Stimpy definitely does.
Now, when they came back the second time, it was a little rough. Like they have, there's like if you all the there's one of those seasons in there. I think it's maybe the fourth, or it's a little weird,
I've
but
never seen. I remember watching as a
hysterical,
kid, but I couldn't
hysterical.
remember.
I still remember the. I'm not going to sing the song, but still remember all the words to log. I still remember, yeah, there's so many quotable lines. I
And it was
don't know. Go ahead.
this was what, 90s?
Oh yeah.
So this was like, again, Beavis and Butthead, Ren and
Yep.
Stimpy. It was kind of the start of it because The Simpsons really started it, but a lot of the stuff, almost everything else on this is my time. Like I was alive. I remember when the rest of this came out. Family
Yeah.
Guys was like late 90s, early 2000s, I think, when it started.
Mm-hmm.
But everything else on this is pretty much new, and I remember it. Uh, but yeah, okay, we can put Ren and Stimpy in A. And then
Definitely an A.
you said this show earlier, it's Solar Opposites, the made by the people who made Rick and Morty.
Um, I thought Bob's Burgers would be the only F on here, but Solar Opposites. I've never been more disappointed in the show ever because Rick and Morty's so good.
It's an
And then they were
S.
like, "Hey, the people who do Rick and Morty are doing another show," and I was like, "Oh my god!" And it's Alien. I was like, "It's gonna be hysterical." And what a turd! What a giant pile of shit! Like
Yeah,
just, just awful. I don't know. Like I don't know if they were drinking or I don't know. It's just not good.
yeah. I watched a couple episodes and I wasn't a big fan at all.
Yeah,
Yeah, for me that's definitely an F tier.
yeah. That's enough. I
I'm
don't
gonna
know
zoom.
what the hell they were thinking.
I'm gonna move us over and I'm gonna zoom this in a little bit. Um, is there anything we want to change on here? Or do we think
Mm,
are we glad with this outcome?
I think we got to move King of the Hill up by Ren and Stimpy.
To an A?
Yeah, yeah. That's my bump. We got to bump King of the Hill up. Yeah, there we go.
That's
Yeah, it
fine,
seems
but
pretty good. I mean, those ones at the top: South Park, Rick and Morty, Boondocks, Family Guy. Yeah, I
great.
don't. You're dead inside if that doesn't make you laugh.
Well, and the thing is, what I'm worried about too is they're talking about doing a fifth season of the Boondocks, but
But
Granddad's
without
dead.
Charlie Murphy and John Witherspoon,
Yeah, and pretty much I think the rest of the cast. What's the girl who plays Huey and Riley?
Regina King.
Yeah, I think originally she was like, I'm not interested in doing it because Granddad passed away.
Yeah,
And then Granddad's son, which if you guys have seen Joe Rogan's podcast, they were on there, and he does a really good impersonation of his dad. He
it's
was gonna
really good.
he was gonna do play his dad for the last season. So then everyone was like, yeah, we're on board. Regina was like, we'll do it. And then they were like, no, we're not hiring him. We're gonna get someone new.
Oh well, then no, I'm good.
So I just hope they don't mess it up because the first three seasons were amazing. Four was it was okay,
Yeah,
but
four was. Mm,
just don't ruin it. It's already so good the
yeah,
way it is. Don't do a
yeah.
fifth season. Just leave it.
Just leave it alone. It's good. We'll just watch the ones you've already made.
But yeah, so that's for the people listening. We gave Bob's Burgers and Solar Opposites an F, and then South Park, Rick and Morty, Boondocks, and Family Guy an S tier, and everything else was sandwiched in between. So I'm
Yeah,
gonna
there's a big drop off between like SAB and C, D, and F.
yeah. Is there any shows you can think of that I missed that I didn't put on here?
Oh no, I mean there's anime shows that have like some jokes in them, but
Yeah,
not really.
but not like an adult cartoon.
No, I'm trying to think of of all these shows, which ones it's got to be South Park. South Park's, yeah, you know what? We got this right. South Park's got to be the funniest on here.
Yeah, and then Rick and Morty.
Family Guy's
Okay.
up there too. Those S tier ones are just fantastic.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, I think that's fair. I'm gonna switch
And
us
South
back.
Park has pissed more people off than anybody. It's just yeah,
Remember
love
the
those dudes.
remember the gay fish, Kanye
Oh
West.
yeah, when they was messing with Kanye.
Yeah, he's still mad about that.
Well, I
Uh
mean, that was kind of the point. Like, dude didn't understand that it was a joke.
He said on his album, he said, I'll choke a South Park writer with a fish stick.
That's so funny.
He's still mad about that.
Doesn't he like think he's Jesus or something? Isn't it like he thinks he's like the reincarnation of, or something? He thinks he's Moses or Noah or something. Doesn't he? Didn't he say that he thinks he's? He
No,
said some wacky shit.
he said that he's Steve Jobs, Walt Disney, and someone else reincarnated. But he also
Bro, you were alive when they were alive.
He changed his name to, he's no longer Kanye West. He's Legally Ye.
Okay.
But we could have a whole episode debating Kanye.
Sure, that's, I mean, a lot of mental stability there.
That's one of the things you definitely got to separate the art from the artist.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I think that's we're gonna definitely do some more episodes. I appreciate everyone watching, liking, subscribing. We're gonna do, like you said, we're gonna do like a tier, or not a tier list, a bracket.
Yeah.
A bracket of some sort, and then we'll probably get a guest here soon. I know a lot of people who's been wanting to get on, and
yeah, I've been talking to a few people as well. And also possibly we might have some banners.
Yeah,
have a sponsor, might have some vinyl banners behind us next time, or one of these times coming up.
Yeah, and we've talked about doing a Patreon and stuff. That will be later on, but it's definitely something we've thought about. And there's been I think, I mean, you've talked about a lot of really cool episode ideas, but we're saving them for when we have a guest. So
yeah, there's definitely some ideas coming up.
But yeah, I mean, Dad, anything else you want to add?
No, it was a crazy week. Good week of fights. UFC was good this week. Boxing was good this week.
11 people died at Travis Scott's show.
That was bananas.
Yeah, it has been
so sorry for those people.
Yeah, that's
I don't know the whole story, but if you don't know this, it's whatever. Somebody else comment. I don't want, I don't know enough about it to really talk. But didn't they say that during the show, like he was up there, rapping or whatever, and they told him that like people died in the audience or something, and he just kept rapping, like he didn't stop the show or whatever.
That's what I've heard so many things. I heard that someone shot a gun, and that's what made everyone run. I heard also that there's a guy who was walking around injecting people with stuff, and like he's some crazy dude was shooting people up with needles. I heard someone was like, we have to rush the stage. And this is kind of one of those things where it's like, Travis Scott, he's one of my favorite rappers. He's always been known to have crazy concerts. I mean, he has a documentary on Netflix called Look Mom, I Can Fly. And it's talking about how like every show he has crazy ragers. I mean, he jumps off balconies. He has like roller coasters and fans will ride it and jump off. But I think this definitely went to the extreme. And I don't know what caused it. He said he didn't know. Apparently, like when he heard it, he stopped. But some people said he kept going. No one knows really how it started. But I think like 11 people died. Like it was bad.
That's rough. Because all I kept thinking about was like during the height of the whole like East Coast, West Coast beef, right? Yeah. When Pac was making songs directly dissing Nas.
Yeah.
Like when Tupac died, Nas stopped his show, and Tupac wasn't even told the whole crowd, hey, you know what I mean? And just everybody calmed down. It's like, hey, Tupac died. Everybody,
Yeah.
And so I heard that like they came and told him, hey, there's a bunch of people just got trampled and they're dead. And he was just like, kept doing the show. I could be wrong. I could be totally wrong. But if that's the case, then he's got some problems.
Oh, you got to think morally, he's going to have to, I don't think he should be charged like for murder because he wasn't in the crowd. He didn't trample people. But I do think like, like morally, dude, you got to do something about this. You got to say something, you got to whatever, but that's nor here nor there. But the fights, I didn't watch the boxing. Who won?
Canelo.
Oh, nice. Yeah. And
we
then
ordered the UFC pay-per-view and allegedly streamed the Canelo one on the phones so
Yeah, I heard it was a good night of fights. I was working, so I didn't get to see any of them, but
Yeah.
everyone said that the fights were great. But everyone said like the first fight was like the fight of the year, so the rest of
Oh
them
yeah,
weren't as
yeah.
good.
Gaethje and Chandler was amazing. It should have been the main event. Like I know they were title fights or whatever, but who cares? It was Gaethje and Chandler. Like it was so good.
Did they win fight of the night?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I didn't watch the press conference, but you don't have to. Like it was 3 rounds, and all 3 rounds are like candidates for round of the year.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it was really good.
I'll have to watch the highlights. Actually, I think Shane showed it to me. But yeah, that's it, guys. Please like, share, and subscribe, and
For
we'll see you
sure.
next week.
Thank you for watching, everybody. Love you guys.
Yeah, appreciate it.